Hi there, my name is Debbie and I live, travel, and yes, I craft from my RV. My studio is small, so that's why it's very important that I stay organized. And not just is it small, but it becomes smaller every time we travel. The room actually closes up and what we call the slide comes in, and that's why everything has to be off of the floor at all times. And I can't leave anything on my desk because as we travel, it'll come off. So I've developed some ideas on organization, which works for me. And if you have a small space, and even if you have a whole room to yourself, these tips will help you stay organized so you can craft more efficiently. My number one rule for staying organized is the tools you use most need to be easy to reach and easy to put away. Today we're going to talk about organization of your most used tools. Now I make a holder for my tools that goes on top of a drawer in my desk. But even if you don't have to worry about things bouncing around and losing them in a drawer, it's nice to have the things that you use the most accessible so you aren't spending precious crafting time looking for those tools like your scissors or your bone folder. Now, it's a fun project to make that little tool holder, so let me show you how to do it. So I am starting with a piece of fun foam. It's the 1/4 inch. It's the thick fun foam. And I am covering it with some decorative paper, some scrapbook paper. I'm laying out my tools so I know where they are. Again, I take the things that I use most and have it easiest to reach. For instance, my ruler is real quick because I use that all the time. And then my bone folder, and then my stylus, and then the scissors I do use often too, but I just ended up keeping them on the side. I use 3 different scissors. I use the long blade one, an all-purpose one, and sort of a fussy cutting one. So I am using the ruler to make some straight lines, and I'm just sketching exactly where all of my tools need to be. Once I've got it sketched out, I take a real sharp craft knife and start cutting out around the outline. You want to cut it out to the exact shape, maybe a tiny bit more. You don't want it to be too big. Obviously, I can tell where everything goes based on the shape of things, but I've been using this technique for a couple of years, so I do know where things go anyhow. Um, I've realized that the paper is still wet, so at this point I actually am waiting till the next day and let things dry, and then I start cutting. Most of it I cut from the top, and you can see it's easier to freehand than it is to use a ruler. To me, it doesn't have to be exact because it's just for me, um, but drawing the outline of the shape helps. And a pencil would make more sense. I used a marker, but you want to make sure that you can't see that. Those big scissors are a little bit too big. I end up having to cut off the end of it, and that's okay. It'll still stay in place. And this is where I have the little pokey tool. It's a little bit too big, but it's okay. And I keep my bottle of glue there. I'm just double checking on the other side to make sure it's all going to fit. Here's the old one. I'm still going to continue using the base. I'm trying to peel off the paper. Let me show you a picture of what the base looks like. So my drawer is 11.5 inches wide. I have a piece of 12-inch chipboard that I cut down and covered. That black piece is some foam board that I glued onto the bottom of it about 1/2 inch from the edge. So it sort of has a channel to sit on in my drawer. This is underneath it. It's turned upside down, so the black part would face down. That beige part is the lip. It comes out about 3/4 of an inch, and that sits on the edge of the drawer. Now, after I've cut out everything, this is the base. It's old and ugly. I ripped off the old piece. I'm trying to figure out what color to put underneath that. I sort of like the blue. I think the green is a little bit. I don't have the exact color green as the polka dot paper, but I have a green. So I cut it down. I put a small piece over on the left side scored a little bit on the right side just so you don't see the edge of it, and just tape everything down. Just burnishing that and figuring out exactly my placement. I had a little piece here at the edge because some of my tools kept slipping, but now that I've got a new template, they'll be fine. So I'm adding some glue just around the outline of all of those shapes, trying to figure out exactly where it needs to go. There's lots of glue in those little crevices, so I'm cleaning that up, and I will let that dry before I start putting in the tools. So now everything fits nicely. I have a spot for all of my most used tools. So now we're ready to go. So now I've got another drawer divider. Now I make these dividers. I'm going to show you later on in this series exactly how I make these dividers. But needless to say, it's just, this one I didn't even use uh, chipboard for the base. I just used a bunch of leftover pieces of heavyweight cardstock. And that's the way I organize my small space. That's the left-hand side of my cabinet. Let me show you an overall picture of the different organizations that I use, and as well a general picture of my craft room. The important thing about this system is when I'm crafting, maybe every half an hour, I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll make sure everything is put back. That way you don't throw anything out mistakenly, and that way everything stays organized, and at the end of the day it's not difficult to clean up. So that's it for today. I will have more in the series coming up. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you like to store your most used tools. Thanks so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.